I'm so excited to kick off Mobilize Baltimore, the bus tour today.
Feeling good, feeling really good. Buses are here, people are showing up, waivers are getting signed. You can see the excitement behind me, all the noise and everything. We're excited. We're gonna hit 3 different stops today in the morning for commercial developments, 3 more in the afternoon for housing developments, a house that hasn't started, a house that's halfway finished, and a house that's completely finished. And have folks walk through sometimes for the very first time they've ever seen behind the walls. This is always a great event for folks to really immerse themselves in not only real estate development and construction, but specifically the things that are happening in Baltimore, tips and tricks that we can share, developments that we know about that are happening in different areas, and walking through neighborhoods to see what houses they can start to target. It's gonna be a good event. So today our very first stop will be at Coppin Heights CDC. A CDC is a community development corporation, so it's a nonprofit that's able to attract federal dollars, state dollars in order to build houses.
When you're coming into neighborhoods and you're the first, right, or there's a ton of vacant and blighted property, and you're trying to turn the neighborhood, and everybody wants to buy the block and do all those things, and it all sounds really good, but somebody gotta take the hit on the front end. And so Coppin Heights CDC is really leading that shift in that neighborhood so that they can start developing properties, start building some property values, and then have folks like us come in right alongside them to help support the cause.
This is called the Mill on North. This will be a 7-stall food hall. We just think this is a great opportunity because here, again, 7 vendors from West Baltimore will be have their food here. A couple of them are well known for having food trucks, and so this will actually give them a standard destination. Community organizing was sort of our niche, how we started. That's the crust of who we are. So we also really base a lot of what we do on leadership development. So we move and push our organization through what our leaders say and what our leaders want as we develop them as they come and engage with us. That is the lots where we had the renderings. That's where we're looking to put those 4 units there.
The biggest struggle is where to invest, and I feel like this bus tour was an opportunity to see where I could assist. It helped me to see the different areas in Baltimore and the opportunities that are available for investors like myself.
What's really dope about what Coppin Heights is doing, Coppin Heights CDC, is that they have their commercial buildings where they did a $20 million project to bring affordable housing into the neighborhood, but they're also focused on housing. And so they are also acquiring and developing housing, making sure that they have site control of this area neighborhood. If you're buying here, check with us. We can make sure you check with them because we want to make sure that their strategy for this neighborhood holds strong. And they are here acquiring properties and doing development to turn these vacant houses into homes.
The City of Baltimore asked us to be the development partner for the new Lexington Market. So without further ado, let's go check out the new home. So you guys are seeing what we call the base building, right? But you're not quite seeing yet all the details that make each tenant stall different and unique, right? So with each one, we'll have signage, they'll have lighting, they'll have countertops.
So we are in Lexington Market. So Lexington Market was built in the 1700s, has been a marketplace for just Black ownership and fresh food and just culture and life. And so Lexington Market is being rebuilt right now, literally in a construction site. And so we're making sure folks know exactly what's coming, what it means for this area and neighborhood, and of course, how they can get involved.
We need more folks doing what you're doing here in the city. You know, this city is wonderful. It's a beautiful place. Hopefully Lexington Market represents the future of the city of Baltimore, and that future should be equitable, right? Everybody should have a stake in it and be able to participate in it. And that's what we're trying to do with the Lexington Market, is recreate new systems that allow equity to flourish.
Talk to the neighbors, talk to the community. That was something that we learned from the new location over in Lexington. I didn't even know that was like the oldest market in the United States. Blew my mind. And so my recommendation is this program, the bus tour, has paid itself forward, in my opinion.
Next, we're headed to our house, which is a food hall in the Remington area. The commercial development that took place a few years ago has resulted in food entrepreneurs coming in and being able to set up shop and provide fresh food, as well as cooked food for folks coming in and just hungry, ready to get some food. So we're gonna get some lunch before we head over to the next couple houses, because I'm hungry.
So what I love about events like these is the opportunity to network with a lot of like-minded people.
You will not only get to meet Kiera and Khalil and their amazing team, but you'll also get to meet people like us who are in it, you know, boots to the ground, and we're just trying to learn and connect with other people. It's just such an amazing experience that I would recommend for anyone that's interested in any type of real estate investing.
Now we're at a property that we haven't started yet. We're gonna take a look inside and let folks kind of peek inside. It's a little bit blighted and vacant. One of the floors has collapsed. We're not gonna walk through with everybody, that's for sure. But we want some folks to take a look inside and just get an idea and an understanding of when you start a rehab, this is what a property could potentially look like.
The most significant stop to me was the first stop. It puts into perspective what was when you look at the next two.
We're in an area of Baltimore City called McElderry Park. We acquired the house about 2 weeks ago. Total acquisition for this house was about $30,000, maybe a little bit more. Total budget for our construction right now is about $180,000, depending on what the full scope entails. So these are how houses start. This is what they look like. We walk through, we take a look at it, we inspect it, we kind of put a back of the envelope rough estimate around what the total costs are gonna be, and then we move forward.
It's important to go into these and understand your numbers. That's why it's also important to understand the neighborhood, what's the values of the properties, what's my rehab, and does this make sense before you buy the property.
It's time to look at a house that's halfway finished. So the house that we're gonna look at is not too far away, but it's framed so they can walk up and down the steps. We're ready to close up the walls on this next house. But before we do, we wanna give everybody a chance to see it. Sometimes for the very first time seeing behind walls. Excited to see this next one. This house, 3-story house, the biggest on this block actually. So arguably one of the most intimidating houses. The square footage on this is about 2,400 square feet, so it's a bigger footprint. Our first step was to demo. We have a professional crew who does that well. And then the next step is to start framing, right? So all these wood joists and things, we gotta frame it up. After that, we do the MEP. So we start with mechanical, these aluminum trunks. You see the HVAC, yep. We start with that, and then we go to plumbing, which is a little smaller, and electrical, which you can just kind of fish through the lines. After we pass the electrical, we're gonna go with insulation. After the insulation, we do the insulation inspection, the framing inspection. So then we seal up the walls. And after the walls, we do the tile in the bathroom. We start painting the walls. We do the flooring throughout. And then we start bringing in like the cabinets and all that kind of stuff until we get to the use and occupancy permit, which is the final permit needed in order to legally use and occupy a structure.
My favorite stop was house number 2, getting to see all of the framing, the inner workings of what's being done, you know, behind the walls, because we often don't see that side of things.
And then to just see then a finished product that it could go from the walls, the studs, and then go to that. It was just a really great opportunity to see, you know, the beginning all the way to the end.
So I'm the first one in this house, and the buses are pulling up pretty soon. We're gonna show this house to folks, but you can see behind me, it's a finished product. So after walking through a house that literally was infested with rodents and different things, to a house where everything was framed out and you can walk through, but you still can't quite see the finished product, to a house that looks like this, mind's blown. It's a great afternoon. I love this moment right here when people come in and they're shouting and they're excited and they're saying, oh, this looks so great, and right? We get super excited. The great thing about this house is that it's already under contract. It's one of our clients' houses, and we're so excited to show it off for them.
The way they did it in order, that helps to get a perspective on the process.
This is Eager Landing. So this is the land of our $15 million, 50 new construction townhome development project. 20% of the properties or townhomes will be affordable. So we have a strategic partnership with Habitat for Humanity for the affordable housing units, which is really great for this area in particular. Our bus, I was talking about how there was a ton of displacement in this area. This neighborhood used to be known as the Middle East. Now, you know, Eager Park is kind of the new framing, but for us, one big question that we had kind of coming into an area with that kind of history is, if not us, then who? So we wanted to end here because I think all day long we kind of showed them the journey, right? And we kind of wanted to make sure you guys saw what's next. We're able to get people outdoors, talk about projects that we're doing, what other amazing developers and investors in Baltimore are doing themselves, because collectively we can make sure that as Baltimore continues to change and develop, we have a say on exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next Mobilize Baltimore. You're gonna wanna be there. Bigger, better. We're always improving, checking out new sites, and having a blast while doing it.
See you there.